Welcome to National Adoption Month. This is a time to help raise awareness about the thousands of children and youth currently in foster care who are waiting for permanent and loving families. During National Adoption Month, national, state, and local agencies dedicate time to help inform and raise awareness in their communities through various programs, events, and activities. Here at the California Department of Social Services headquarters, we want to celebrate and promote the importance of permanency through adoption. This year, we are celebrating the theme, Empowering Youth, Finding Points of Connection. We thank you for watching our video. Every story has the power to inspire and educate. Please know that here in California, we have over 11,000 foster youth available for adoption. Nationwide, more than 1 in 5 children waiting for adoption are between the ages of 13 and 17. The average age of all children waiting to be adopted is 7.5 years. The average time in care for all children waiting to be adopted is 34 months. Black or African American and American Indian Alaska Native children spend more time in care compared to others. The following families come for the Adoption Services Branch regional offices as nominees of Family of the Year. Their posters are here on display at headquarters throughout the month of November. Please stay tuned to listen to their impactful stories.
It's my pleasure to present the Clever family. This family has been amazing with helping the children in their home find healing and permanence. This family has adopted a total of 5 children while raising their biological 4 children. First came the 2-year-old twin boys, Liam and Leaf, now 7 years old. While the twins were first placed in the home, both boys would gorge until they threw up and attempt to keep eating. They would take food from each other and have a meltdown if the meal was over. Both boys had such severe anxiety that when the vacuum was run or a trash truck came, they would scream and throw themselves on the floor so hard that Jennifer was concerned for injury. Other times they would rock or hum to soothe themselves. They never laughed or smiled. They knew 2 or 3 words of sign language, but were not speaking at 2 years old. Now the boys are emotionally stable. They're talking, they laugh, they play and sing. They both are physically active and love the animals on the ranch. They're loving to each other and to their other siblings. Then came Cole, 7, William, 6, and Titus, 4. This sibling group of 3 they adopted in 2023 came with similar emotional and developmental issues. 2 of these boys are diagnosed with ASD. They have made leaps and bounds in developing self-care skills, social and language skills since placement in this home. The home they provide is welcoming and child-friendly. What makes this home special is the calm and accepting way the family adapts to the needs of each child. The adoptive mother is a stay-at-home parent and dedicates her time to developing attachment and providing enriching age-appropriate activities for the children. She homeschools most of the children. The environment is quiet and uncluttered with spacious outdoor and indoor play areas. The 4 older biological siblings readily accept these 5 adoptees as their siblings. The family has put the needs of their children first and opened their hearts and home to 5 special needs children. They've been supportive of reunification efforts and have mentored birth parents. The Clevers have been very close with one such family and provide regular mentorship to the mother and regular childcare long after successful reunification. The mother's child has attended both of their adoptions and is regularly seen with them at social events as an extended family member. Both parents employ patient and compassionate parenting skills. They provide enriching and age-appropriate activities. The older siblings in the home have opened their home and their hearts to accept these 5 children as their brothers. Without their support, this would not have been possible.
Hi, my name is Chandra Lee. I'm with the Fresno Regional Office, and I would like to share with you my nomination for Family of the Year, Edith, Patricia, and Brian Roseman. Edith Roseman is a retired employee of the California Department of Motor Vehicles. She is the mother to 2 sons and proudly reports that she has 7 grandchildren. Patricia Roseman has been practicing as a licensed vocational nurse for over 30 years. She is the mother of 1 son and has 3 grandchildren. Edith and Patricia are the legal siblings, but also the biological aunts to Brian. Their brother is Brian's birth father, and their mother is Brian's adoptive mother. Brian was placed in protective custody of Sutter County on November 19, 2009, after his mother requested that she be hospitalized due to mental health concerns. On April 5, 2011, dependency was dismissed, and Brian was placed in the care of his birth father. It was his father's intention that he and Brian would relocate to Fresno to be closer to family. However, his father passed away prior to relocating, and Brian was subsequently detained. On August 8, 2011, Brian was placed in Fresno in the home of his paternal grandmother, Miss Maybelle Roseman, who subsequently adopted him through Sutter County Children and Family Services. Although Edith and Patricia's legal relationship to Brian changed, they maintained their role as his aunts. Brian has been diagnosed with disruptive mood disorder, autism spectrum disorder, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and has required a high level of care. As Edith and Patricia's mother's circumstances changed, they began providing more assistance with Brian's care. Their mother, Brian's adoptive mother, passed away unexpectedly on January 11, 2021. After her passing, Edith and Patricia moved into their mother's home to assist with Brian's adjustment and loss and to assume the role of his primary caretakers. Edith and Patricia filed their petition to adopt Brian on March 2, 2021, and finalized their adoption on August 12, 2022. Edith and Patricia wanted to honor their mother by continuing to raise Brian in her absence. They also wanted to ensure Brian's stability, maintain his familial connections, and prevent further involvement in the foster care system. It is my honor to recognize Edith, Patricia, and Brian Roseman as a Fresno Regional Office nomination for Family of the Year.
Stephen and Wendy Laran have always had a heart for adoption as a way to build their family together. When Stephen was 18 years old, his mother's sister was hit by a drunk driver with the children in the car. The youngest child passed away, and Stephen's aunt was in a coma for 18 years before passing. Stephen's parents took the other 2 girls into their home and provided guardianship for them, ages 10 and 16. Stephen recalled having to adjust rather quickly of his cousins living in the home. He recalls that his mother devoted her time to help the 2 girls heal and cope with the loss of their mother and a sibling. Wendy was raised in a family that embraces adoption. Her grandparents adopted 3 children with special needs. Her mother adopted 1 child with special needs. For the past 30 years, Wendy has filled her home with biological and adoptive children. Wendy and her first husband foster adopted 2 siblings through Los Angeles County. Jake was 2 days old, and Sadie was 2 years old. Both were prenatally exposed to drugs and alcohol. They also adopted 1 child from Guatemala, and they have 3 biological children. As Wendy's mother adopted Jack and Sadie's biological sibling, the children had the opportunity to grow up together and overcome any challenges in a larger family. Wendy said, 100 years from now, it won't matter what car you drove or house you lived in, but the difference you made in the lives of others. By traveling the world and serving others, her children built siblings bonds and founded their own purpose. Jake is now 29, works in sales, and served 4 years on the USS Churchill in the U.S. Navy. Sadie is 31, married, the mother of 3, and is a dental hygienist. She has volunteered at orphanages in Africa and now helps at her children's school. Their 22-year-old son, Preston, volunteered in Africa and is presently serving in Italy in the U.S. Army. Their daughter, Summer, is 28, married with 2 kids and teaches English in Italy. Jared is 30, works in sales, and lives locally. Their youngest daughter, Savannah, is 17, a senior in high school, volunteers in Africa and Mexico, and heads to a veterinarian school in the fall. With the house being quiet again, and Wendy and Steve getting married in 2018, they decided to continue to make a difference in the lives of children. They want to give a child it needs a loving, stable home, and they began looking to adoption in summer of 2019. They first considered foster to adopt and complete a home study in 2020 to become an approved resource parents. However, they continued to look into international adoption options and concluded international adoption was the best match for them. They were approved by an international adoption agency and matched with a young boy from China. However, the process was delayed due to COVID-19 pandemic. The Larians plan to adopt another child after they adopted from China. As they were waiting for travel, they began considering adoption domestically. They found a child through a second chance adoption program and knew they can provide him a loving, stable home. The child was born prematurely at 24 weeks. He has had a traumatic entry into the world. He was exposed to marijuana and volume in utero. His birth mother was a victim of domestic violence while she was pregnant with him. He spent 5 months in NICU before going to a foster home, where he remained until placed with his first adoptive family. The first adoption was completed in 2018. Between age 2 to age 4, the child was reported to have significant attachment issues, showing with both of his previous foster placement and his first adoptive family, and undiagnosed behavioral and mental health issues. Stephen and Wendy have researched and identified medical resources related to adoption in the greater Los Angeles area, including pediatrician and a specialist at the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles and the UCLA Medical Center. They are aware of other supportive services in their community, including other adoptive families and the social support groups. They have taken pre-adoption course through an adoption agency and read adoption-related books. They have mindful of what the experience of adoption will be like for the child and are thoughtful of the loss and grief that is part of adoption. The child's second adoption was finalized in November of 2022. He was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. For the past year and a half, Larian have worked to meet his needs and get him services to be successful. Larian said, although they may have missed his first 5 years, we get so many other first. We were the first to teach him to snow ski, first to watch him ride a bike without training wheels, and take him on his first cruise, they said. The child just graduated in June, the top of his kindergarten class. He also has siblings that know what it's like to be adopted, be of different colors, and coming into a family in a unique way. They share the importance of giving back and not giving up. The child is now testing for his orange belt in Taekwondo and wants to be like his sister Savannah, and he can't wait to serve like his siblings in Africa. The past summer, the Larians traveled to Italy for the child to visit 2 of his siblings in Rome, because no matter the age difference, he has lots of memories to still build with them. Wendy says that creating your family through adoption isn't easy. Our kids' biological families and the trust had already been destroyed, but with time, faith, unconditional love, and a community of others, the kids in our family continues to grow. There will always be lots of questions asked, and that is good, really good. They said their job as parents is to provide the love to build them up and give them the tools to share their unique gifts with others. To let them know, no matter what, they have 2 families and will never have to choose. One family gave them life, and the other had the gift of raising them. Families don't end when a child turns 18. That's when, as Steve says, the bonus time begins. So many more first. First car, first time at college, first grandkids. Yes, the Larians have 5 now. Children need to know that as they grow up and into adulthood, that they have a safety net to fall on and a family that is there for them. Adopting children at any point is an absolute gift and a special way the Larians created their unique family and makes a difference.
Hello, we are Wendy and Steve Larian from Southern California. Hello to all the families out there that have adopted and the ones thinking about adopting. Growing up, I was taught that from my mom this really good saying about adoption, and that's 100 years from now, it won't matter what car we drove or house we lived in, but the difference that we make in the lives of others. And so 30 years ago, I started adopting, and now my newborn and 2-year-old are now 29 and 31. I went on to adopt 3 children and have 3 biological children. And to me, making that difference in the lives of others was what I thought was my purpose. But my real purpose is being a mom, and in opening up our home to grow our family through adoption. Well, I found that that difference wasn't me making for the kids. The kids made a difference in the way we created our family. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, the coolest family. And this past year, my husband Steve and I just adopted our newest son, a little 7-year-old boy. And I guess that's why we're here. Because we are now grandparents. We're even grandparents to our kids that we adopted and our biological children, but now we're also parents again. And that has brought us full circle of why adoption is so important. You can create a family at any stage in your life, in any way imaginable. Just opening up your heart and giving kids a chance, and knowing that parenting is the best job in the world.
Absolutely. For myself, I met my wife 7 years ago, and at that point in time, my wife had already had the 6, and respectfully, at that time, the last thing I thought of was adopting another child. However, as apprehensive as I could have been, the joy and the nervousness of taking this on is completely vanished. It's the joy for somebody that's never done this before, which is to most of people out there that are considering it, is absolutely a no-brainer. It's absolutely a no-brainer.
And I think the greatest part about, especially recently with this newest adoption, is it wasn't a newborn, it wasn't a toddler. Our son's now 7 years old, but we have so many firsts in this past year. His first time learning to ride a bike, his first time getting up on water skis, his
First day at school.
First day of school, his first adult tooth growing in. I think adopting an older child and they're able to share their stories of what family means to them, what it doesn't mean to them. And
Even at 7, there's an appreciation of what life Easton has.
yeah, he is an absolute joy and just loved by his older brothers and sisters, and learning that he has a forever family that is here for him. So thank you for, I guess,
Thank you for the nomination.
nominating, I guess, the grandparents here for adopting, giving us this next time around. Just open up your hearts and know that adoption will change a child's life, most definitely, but it will make you have the best job.
People ask me, how could you take this on at our age, right? And the one affirmation I can make is the truth that we know that this child's life may not be perfect, but it's a guarantee that he has a better life and will have a better life as a result of what we did. You may not be able to give him everything, or depending on the individual you're looking at, but you have to believe that the child that you're going to be taking on is going to have a better life than that they had. Never think about what you can't do. It's what you are going to do.
Absolutely. I guess I wanted to share with you one of my favorite memories this past year of being new parents to our son has been, and that is that my birthday came along and we took all of the kids from now 7 to 31. We took all the grandkids and we went on a Disney cruise, and what a blessing to show all the kids just family is unique, family is different, and being together is being a family. So sorry it's a little shady here. We lost electricity.
Southern California Edison.
But we wanted to share with you here in November for National Adoption Month to consider adoption. Thank everyone out there that has adopted, and thank you to all the social workers involved.
Yes, thank you, Celeste.
Celeste, thank you so much. Stepping up, getting things done, and giving us our son, building our family. We are truly blessed.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi, my name is Helene, and I'm an adoption specialist with the Sacramento Regional Office. I have nominated the Waite family for Family of the Year, and in order to understand why I made that decision, I think it's important to understand some information about the youth that was placed in their care and adopted. Her name is Aurora, and she is 16 years of age. When she was 3 years old, she was removed from her birth parents' care due to abuse and reunited. When she was 7, she was removed again along with a younger brother. They were placed into a foster adopt home in which 2 other young boys resided. This family ultimately ended up adopting all 4 children. At the age of 12, Aurora and one of her younger brothers ran away from home and reported to the sheriffs the horrendous physical and emotional abuse that was occurring in the home. Reunification services were not offered to the family, and I was tasked with trying to find a home for all 4 children. It took about a year, but a home was identified and all 4 children transitioned to that home. Everything was going really well. Aurora and the children were getting along really well. The placement was just great. The family ended up asking for respite as they wanted to celebrate an anniversary out of town. So Aurora was placed in the Waite home for respite, and it went very well. Following her return to her potential adoptive family, the Waites and Aurora kept in contact. So Aurora is a young teenager, and she is trying to find her identity and herself, and it ends up clashing with the Christian background of the potential adoptive family. The family really tried to make it work. I got to hand it to them. They really kind of stretched themselves. However, it didn't work. Aurora ended up practicing some self-harm and was hospitalized. And then it was decided that return to the home was not in Aurora's best interest. And a few days later, I got a phone call saying the Waites wanted placement of Aurora. I was a little concerned because they didn't have her whole history, and she was, hospitalized. And however, they knew what had happened and where she was, and it didn't cause any pause for them. So Aurora was moved to the home, and she is flourishing. She's not had any self-harm since she's been placed in there. Her grades are flourishing, and I am so proud of her. And the reason why I'm nominating this family is for their ongoing support of Aurora and for being the first family who has never let her down. With that, I would like to introduce the Waite family, and they can share their journey of adoption from foster care to adoption. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Blair. I am here with 2 of our kids, Aria and Jewel. My husband and other daughters are not home at the moment, so we're just gonna make do with what we got. So a little bit about our family and our kind of experience of fostering. We had 1 bio daughter, and we decided we wanted to grow our family through adoption. We decided foster to adopt was the route that we were going to do that. When we first started, I was convinced I wanted 1 daughter, 0 to 4 years old, to be a younger sister to our current child, who was 4 at the time that we started fostering. I very quickly figured out that what I thought I wanted was not necessarily accurate, because we have now since then fostered kids of all ages, girls and boys, kids with behavioral issues, kids with medical issues, kids that were in no way adoptable, and we knew that from day 1, so we went into it just to foster, kids that we hoped would be foster to adopt that then we supported in reunification, sibling sets of up to 4. We've kind of done the whole gamut, and honestly, it's all been great, and we've loved every placement, and we've loved our experiences with fostering, as well as the fact that we've had the opportunity to adopt a few of our placements. So we have adopted 2, a teenager and a baby, and then our 18-year-old, who is our longest placement. We still haven't had the opportunity to adopt, but we will be doing that, and hopefully when she's ready. We've had her 4 years, so she's been our longest placement. And I would say, if I wanted to pass a message on to prospective families, I would say consider being more open to possibilities that you may not have thought you wanted to be open to. Older kids, or larger sibling sets, or behavioral issues, or medically complex, all of those things, they can sound scary on paper, but in our experience, they've been way less difficult or scary in real life than they sounded. And worth it, for sure. So that would be my one piece of advice for everybody. I also would say maybe try doing respite. Respite was a great way for us as a family to kind of get an experience of maybe an age range or things that we weren't sure we wanted to take placements of, but it kind of gave us that practice and we found out we loved it. So that helped open our horizons. At this point, we've had, I believe, 17 placements and like 26 kids for respite. Most of the kids we've had for respite, we've had multiple times because we build a relationship with their family. And a lot of our respite kids have eventually ended up being placed with us because their foster parents put in notice and we were like, we want them. So, my bio daughter, who's 9, is here with us. We have 1 bio daughter and 3 adopted. So I was figuring I would give her a little bit of a chance to answer a few questions that you guys might be wondering. I want you to sit down next to me.
Okay.
So Aria,
Yeah.
what has been your experience of foster care, good or bad?
I think it's good because it's given me a lot of opportunities to make more friends, and I just like making my life a little bit happier.
And what do you think the most important thing that we've done as a foster family would be? Like, what is it that we do to help?
Just to make sure to just make them feel loved and welcome.
And what's been the hardest part of fostering for you?
Seeing all like my best friends go, and the chance that I'll never see them again.
But even with how hard that is, do you regret fostering, or do you want to keep doing it, or what are your feelings on that?
I want to keep doing
Thank you, everyone, and we hope that that was helpful for somebody, and we love doing what we do, and we're happy to keep doing it.
For our Family of the Year, we would like to share the story of the Hammond-Hernandez-Yang family from our Arcata Regional Office. Tang, age 21, Emily, age 20, Jasmine, age 14, Kaysen, age 7, and Peng She, age 10, Penson, age 9, and Sumi, age 17, were placed into foster care in January of 2018 due to severe abuse that occurred in their family of origin. Tang had developed a bonded relationship with his middle school counselor, Trevor, prior to being put into foster care. Shortly after Tang was placed into foster care, Trevor and his partner, Tommy, contacted Child Welfare Services to inquire about fostering Tang. A few days later, Tang was placed into foster care with Trevor and Tommy, and the couple began the resource family approval process. Trevor and Tommy were approved as resource parents and expressed their desire to provide permanency for Tang should he be unable to reunify with his birth parents. The siblings were initially placed in 4 separate licensed foster care homes after the search for family members who could provide permanency to the sibling group was unsuccessful. Placing the children was complicated because Sumi and Jasmine are significantly hearing impaired, and Tang is diagnosed with developmental delays and receives regional center services. Sumi and Jasmine needed care providers who could accommodate their weekday travel out of the county to a school that is specialized for the hearing impaired. These unique needs and the large size of the sibling group made placement particularly challenging. In July of 2018, Jasmine, Peng She, Penson, and Kaysen had moved to Fresno to be placed into a permanent home with their paternal relatives. In October of 2018, Sumi joined her siblings in the relative placement in Fresno. Trevor and Tommy had been diligent in keeping Tang in contact with his siblings and continued with this commitment while the 5 younger siblings were living in a different county. Trevor and Tommy would travel with Tang to visit his siblings and relatives in Fresno and would often bring Emily. While coordinating the sibling visits and spending time with the family, Trevor and Tommy developed a close bond with all of Tang's siblings. Trevor and Tommy would also host sibling visits at their home and took every opportunity to learn about Hmong culture, as the sibling group are of Hmong heritage and their family is closely connected to the Hmong community. Over the course of several months, the relative who was providing care to the 5 siblings began to waver on their ability to commit to permanency for the children. In February of 2019, Tommy and Trevor informed the social worker that they were committed to providing permanency to all 7 of the siblings. and the couple began searching for a larger home to accommodate this. Trevor and Tommy also began to learn sign language to communicate with Jasmine and Sumi. By July of 2019, all 7 siblings were placed together with Trevor and Tommy, with the goal of permanency. For various reasons, the adoption took 3 additional years after the siblings were placed with Trevor and Tommy to finalize. Trevor and Tommy continue to show their dedication, meeting the needs of the entire sibling group. They continue to support Jasmine and Sumi with their travel to school each week and back home each weekend. They are actively involved in education, extracurricular activities, therapy, and regional center services. Trevor and Tommy value the siblings' connection to their culture and birth family and make every effort to support visitation. The family now resides in a large home that allows for each of the siblings to enjoy their space as they grow and develop. Because the adoption took several years to finalize, Emily and Tang were adopted as non-minor dependents, further demonstrating Trevor and Tommy's commitment to permanency for the entire sibling group. The family is incredibly busy and continue to grow with each new stage of life. Trevor and Tommy have demonstrated an incredible adaptability in catering to the needs of all their children, and their commitment to keeping the siblings together and connected to their culture and biological family has been exceptional. The California Department of Social Services, Arcata Regional Office, and the Adoption Services Branch are proud to present the Hammond-Hernandez-Yang family as our Family of the Year for National Adoption Month. The dedication Trevor and Tommy have shown to not only the younger siblings, but to the older siblings as well, embodies the love, commitment, and stability that is essential for helping children placed in foster care grow, heal, and thrive. We thank you for taking the time to hear about these amazing families from our 5 regional offices on behalf of National Adoption Month 2023.
My name is Diana Wagner, and on behalf of the Adoption Services Branch within the Children and Family Services Division of CDSS, I would like to thank you for taking the time to hear about these amazing families from our 5 regional branches.